Are back. Quick break, but we are here with the match. VGJ.Thunder taking on FlyToMoon, and just to recap what we talked about before, we've got on one hand we got a CIS team, FlyToMoon, up and coming, been around for 2 months, created by Iceberg,
give or take,
and they're still in the honeymoon phase. It's kind of what we decided. They're going up against VGJ.Thunder, a veteran team with, I say veteran team, but there's still some young players in there as well. But they've been doing a lot better, at least they've been having better results at the international stage. And we'll see if they have good results here at the Ukrainian stage as well, because that is where we're at. We're in Ukraine, Kiev Cybersport Arena. Best of 3, Group A, and we're in. Here with Gods and Tsunami, of course, as well. Hello.
Hello.
Cheers.
Good morning. All right, so we talked about how we want to see some aggression coming out from FlyToMoon.
Yeah.
How we want to see sturdy cores coming out from VGJ.Thunder to withstand that aggression.
Yep.
I'd like to see VGJ.Thunder pressure the mid lane a bit. Pressure Iceberg. Don't give him an easy time, particularly if he's playing one of those easier to gank mids. If he pulls out the Shadow Fiend, the Queen of Pain, maybe not easy to gank, but here you can pressure. His OD is one of his more well-known heroes from the old days as well. So pressure Iceberg and try and stop him having a good game.
Yeah, one of the reasons why I said he's like a quintessential mid, especially at this level, is because I think some teams make the mistake of trying to tilt him too hard, and then you kind of activate like an X factor of a mid player, where if you just like constantly hammer them for like the first 10 minutes, then they'll lay low for like 7 minutes, and they'll completely dominate a team fight, and then you're like, great, all that work just went to waste. And Iceberg is definitely capable of that. Like the traditional example everyone always gives is like Sumail's first DAC with Storm Spirit, where he was just constantly getting hassled and then came back in an explosive fashion, and I think that's capable for Iceberg. But the more capable thing is 100% win rate Rubik.
Yeah, they go right for it. First 2 picks, so no messing around. They've looked at their own numbers, I guess, and want to keep picking up the Rubik. Abaddon first 2 though, that's a bit unusual. It does give them a way to debuff the Dark Willow, a lot of his spells.
Yeah,
the stun,
both the crown and the root. Yeah.
The root, yeah.
Is that we unfortunately aren't able to see all the bans, but is that a ban of the Doom? What ban is that?
That is a Doom.
Yes, I believe so. Which FlyToMoon do occasionally play.
Yeah.
And VGJ.Thunder play a ton of Omni Knights, so that doesn't surprise me, and the Tusk ban. It's a bounty on Enchantress, if that's what you're looking for.
No, I'm just trying to double check. I say that's Doom, and I'm like, wait, is it?
I mean, I see like a chin, I see some red shoulder, you never know.
Yeah, no, it might not be Doom. Maybe not. I was seeing Magnus for a second, I'm like, no way, that's a Magnus.
If they were against Na'Vi, then I could see a Magnus ban, because Dendy's been rocking it recently. But yeah, no, Thunder go for a Tiny, which is a mainstay of theirs, as we saw on the roster screen, and they are very flexible with it. That's one of the reasons why it's so heavily contested in other regions, but typically they give it to Freeze mid, but occasionally Sylar and occasionally Yang, so there's a lot of flexibility, and they're showing respect. Shadow Fiend ban, that's what I wanted to see. Well, actually, that's not what I wanted to see. I wanted to see Iceberg go to town, but respectfully, ROTK is recognizing the power.
Yep, they know. Yeah, he's maybe the player to watch out for in this game. His hero pool, though, I think is like diverse enough that like you can throw some bans at him, but it's not gonna he's not a player you can ban out. Like he's also that typical mid player in that he can play all the different flashy mids that he needs to.
Yeah, and like all the other CIS teams, they do have a pocket brood mid, because I know I heard like some CIS player like taught basically all the top players how to play brood mid. And
it was probably now about 2.5 years ago, but I can't remember the name, but I remember I think it was Vega Squadron actually to. Obviously different lineup, but they owned an ESL New York with it. And they won with that, and everybody's like, wow, Brood Mid is the next thing. And it was just because this one person that only spammed
spread the gospel.
He basically taught everybody.
I think it was like DK Phobos back then.
Exactly.
Win games with it. And,
so now everybody can have it in, it's always good to have a pocket Brood.
For sure. That's basically like a free ban that you don't have to worry about at the end.
Always got to keep it in the back of your mind. We talked about how important the 4 positions are. Is this a 4-position Willow?
Thunder usually give it to they don't really pick it that often, so I'm not sure.
You were saying that, I can't remember them playing it.
I think it's pretty split between Fade and DDC, from my understanding. Typically, I think Fade is probably, I'd say it's like 60% Fade, 40% DDC. But we'll see, because a lot of, so Fade's Tusk got banned out, which leads me to believe that it's probably going to be a 4-position Willow, and then you give DDC like a Witch Doctor or a Disruptor.
They just picked Tree. What's going on here?
This that's the CIS special.
Yeah, but it's not, I haven't seen FlyToMoon play this. I don't think they've
it's a Vega Squadron special. Like, Zayats really loves this hero, but no other regions really like it, but FlyToMoon like it. And they are very big on maxing guys, and so it's not going to be like a passive, keep my towers alive, living armor type situation.
I think it's more in the 4 position,
right?
Or at least playing in the off lane with the Abaddon. That sounds like a pretty pesky lane to try and deal with.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're always want to fly, you've got a trainer in your team, you think, well, I can get a bit more fun with my Rubik. You know, this trainer will help me plant some wards.
Yeah.
Like Bounty Hunter, where, he's roaming and helping the offlane, but he actually doesn't take a lot of farm. DDC Lion. So it puts Willow in the 4 position or the offlane, but...
I don't think they run Yang Willow.
Yeah. I think they like the flexibility of the Tiny, him being either... playing any of the 3 core roles.
Right. And Lion's been on the up and up, especially towards the end of DAC.
Yeah, just keeps getting these small little buffs too.
Mana drain, and he's I think the role I like him best is as sort of counter initiation, because I think the idea of getting a Lion like a Blink Dagger and all that, that's kind of a dead concept these days. It won't happen until like 30-35 minutes. In fact, we were even seeing like Eon discs on Lion and stuff like that, and so they really just want this hero to be alive for Hex.
If you've got a Lion game where he needs to go Blink, it means you had drafting issues where you don't pick this hero to be an initiator. You want your cores like your Tiny, your Dragon Knights, your whatever to initiate. Your Lion, if he has to have a Blink, it means you kind of failed to draft that initiating hero.
Right.
So what FlyToMoon look to get here?
I mean, you can go with like a fragile core if you're FlyToMoon. You've got living armor, you've got defensive null field in general. If anyone ever toggles, then you've got aphotic shield.
I think maybe for now they're going to probably pick up Silence here if they want to save that 10th pick for Iceberg, which is often what they do. That's the classic silent pick. It's the hero that doesn't really get countered by anything obvious. OD for Thunder. That's a hero I want to see Iceberg on, but they got snagged by Thunder themselves.
You were correct, by the way. It is a Chen ban.
Did any of us say that?
No, I think we said I said Doom.
I thought
and then
Doom.
I agree with your Doom.
But you did mention Chen, so it's...
okay.
Yeah, I
I'll
think
tell you.
It's like, is it a Chen? Is it a Doom?
I mean, Chen was very popular, but then ever since the change to make Holy Persuasion not teleport creeps, everyone stopped picking it.
Yeah.
Because do you really want a hero that can do nothing for the first 60 seconds of the game?
There's still some teams who are like, well, still insta first pick it.
Really?
Just because they love it.
Wow.
There's a
FlyToMoon
few of them. Yeah.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
And we don't know what that ban is either. Looks like a Sand King?
A
Would
Void?
have probably banned
Void
an offlaner / carry, depending where they think
I think
Ty's
Void's
going.
more likely.
Yeah.
Don't worry, we'll figure out at some point by the end of the game.
Hopefully.
They want to... Imagine the Tiny might go safe lane, because you need some hero that can actually fight into the Tree and Abaddon. Not sure what that is. I mean, Tiny's okay, he's pretty good stats. Can last hit fine against the pressure with the Tree grab.
They run Jug occasionally on Sylar, but he doesn't... I mean, Lion's a pretty good support.
Yeah.
But, like dual melee Treant, who's almost certainly going to get an Orb of Venom.
You often... I mean, the Jug lifesteals were like the classic carry strong against Gyro, because you've got the built-in magic immunity. So that early Gyro rotation pressure with cooldown Rocket Barrage, well, he does no damage, because you have Blade Fury.
Yeah.
But...
And Silent does play that style of Gyro where he gets active early on. Although, I think he really likes Aghanim Scepter, which I'm not, like, keen on. Oh, so it wasn't a Doom ban. Confirmed not Doom ban.
This is, I think the Tiny makes sense in the safe lane. He's good against the 2 melee off-lane Abaddon Treant lane, if that's the case. Doom is just going to be a very strong, stable off-laner to play out here. It doesn't... I wouldn't say it really hard counters any of these heroes. Like, there's no obvious Doom target for him right now.
But it's probably going to be Iceberg's hero, because
exactly.
They've saved it for 10th. It's going up against an OD, so you already know the matchup. but we do not know the matchup.
Yeah, Quap's been played, I think, 3 or 4 times by him. Shadow Fiend was banned.
Yeah,
OD's been taken.
I think some int hero is probably in his best interest. So
I mean, you mentioned the Zeus. I think he's played that like 4 times if they want to do something a bit obscure.
Or maybe the Brood.
Is this the 10th big Brood game?
It is
Lina.
Lina.
Okay, that's usually a Thunder hero, actually.
Yep, it's the range hero. I think Iceberg used to play a ton of this back in the day when he was playing with Go Black on like Team Spirit. He is definitely comfortable in the hero. And it's kind of a CIS hero, mostly because of like Dandy and Navi loving to play it as well.
We have the chance to do predictions. We will do predictions.
Okay.
I will go first.
Okay.
This way I won't be persuaded by my analyst. I think VGJ.Thunder's got a good shot at this one.
Yeah, I don't think that Iceberg's going to be able to do very much on the Lina, and I think I'm going to give it to Thunder.
I believe in, not going to go with Iceberg, but I believe in FlyToMoon because I think Treant, that's a hero China has no idea how to do it. They have a versus hero. They're not ready for the CIS Treant Protector. That offlane is going to get messed up, so I'm going to go FlyToMoon.
Well, there you go. We are two for one. Let's find out what our commentary team has to say about this matchup. First game of the day. Let's head over to OD Pixel and Winter.
Thank you very much, Shiva. Yes, indeed, we're ready to kick off the action here at StarLadder. And we've got VGJ.Thunder going up against FlyToMoon. We've just seen the pickups, and we've got something a little bit different. We get the Treant Protector coming in now, Winter. We've seen it a lot of the recent lands. This is a hero that just gets ignored, but FlyToMoon, they've got a plan with it.
Hopefully.
I'm sure they do, Winter. I mean, what can you imagine? Why would they be picking the tree in these sort of circumstances?
Like generally when you pick Treant, you want to have a lot of hero that has high burst because Treant doesn't have damage. You have a lot of setup, so you want easy example would be a hero like Timbersaw.
Yeah.
You just root and you burst. I mean they have Lina, so Lina does I think fit well with the Treant.
Okay. And I mean, the Lina herself, something that we've started to see sort of some teams at the top start to sort of play around with the idea of this hero, but still a hero that definitely has a lot of weaknesses. I mean, they pick it up as they're towards the end of the draft here. FlyToMoon, what's sort of the idea behind this one?
I guess it's the matchup as well against OD. You want a hero that's longer range. Like the common matchup we see Sniper against OD. Lina against OD is, I would say, a weaker version of that matchup.
Okay.
I feel like Sniper does a lot better throughout the game, not just like Lina does better in the lane, I think.
Yeah, because you can shove the wave him really hard against an OD.
But later into the game, I feel Sniper does more against the OD matchup. We see here, none of the teams actually smoke out to place wards, but FlyToMoon actually saved the smoke, so they're going to smoke right now to try and get a first blood. Really important to to scout the lanes, to place deep wards with the smoke. So let's see what can they get here. Can they get a kill? That would be perfect. Treant is running in with the Nature's Guys.
Let's see if they can indeed, as you say, all coming into VGJ.Thunder's jungle. Either way,
Oh, he missed the punch! Oh, no.
And with that, they're not going to get away with that quick jump they want, but they do get DDC.
They still got the kill, but he cancelled his animation too quickly then, so he didn't get the root from the punch. But either way, so laning phase is going to be a 2-1-2 setup here for VGJ.Thunder. Teams that recently have just been prioritizing having that one extra hero to help the offlaner, so he gets the pull off like this. So they get the lift off, but he is going to be fine, and they need to send one of the heroes to pull the creeps away in front of the tower. So Silent, they're going to drag the creeps probably in the middle of the tier 1 and tier 2. There's going to be a Bramble Maze here by Fate, just to do some harassing damage. But yeah, so either way, I think the Doom is really happy here, getting the pull.
Yeah, we'll see a good start for Yang in that sort of sense. And mid lane, be very interesting to see indeed how well Freeze does deal with the Iceberg Lina. This hero, as we've mentioned at the start, can sort of have an edge. We'll see how well Freeze is able to play it.
Yeah, one thing to add as well, the Treant would be really good against OD. Because you just basically CC him all the time and you can't steal intelligence and don't do damage in a fight. So we'll see how that plays out later into the game. But the mid matchup, I expect Iceberg to have a slight edge in the lane against the OD. Maybe 6-4. Bottom lane, Nograta on the Abaddon, he didn't really get the pull off because he didn't need to, because the Treant is just annoying the enemy support in the lane so far, and they were able to get first blood previously. So boots and all venom on the Treant. Lion has to be very careful of his positioning. He does have a sentry in the lane, or actually 2 sentries. He hasn't planted out yet, another one, but he has to be careful. Like if he gets caught out in the lane,
Oh yeah. I mean, we saw just now
the
a
tower
couple,
is slow,
a couple of punches and
the all venom slow, plus the slow from the venom should be able to secure the kill easily in most situations here. But I would say VGJ.Thunder are still doing pretty well across the
bottom
box.
lane. Sylar. He's just going to be dead here, surely.
6 charge?
There's your second kill here for FlyToMoon. There's no fear and non grata given the rundown.
Yeah. A lot of physical damage there coming out from the Treant, and Tiny has very low armor in the start of the game, and he has a ring of protection now to deal with it. But this lane going really well for FlyToMoon. Yeah, 2 kills in the lane so far for them. On the other hand, VGJ.Thunder on their off lane, the Doom is still getting, I would say, pretty much what he needs from it. A lot of
look
farm,
at this.
good XP.
No fear. He's got the haste through in this tree. He's going in and he's got it. He'll pay with his life. Or will he? Is that Fairy Fire going to be enough? Surely not. It isn't. He will still die, but hey, got the courier.
Worth for sure. That was worth. Big plays here by the Treant Protector. We question on this pick here by FlyToMoon, but certainly paying off so far. 2 kills set up by the Treant and the courier kill on top of things. Great start here for FlyToMoon. Like I said, VGJ.Thunder, however, they're still quite happy with the outcome of the other lanes. Doom getting a lot of farm and XP on the top lane. Silent going to be pushed back slightly by the Curse Crown.
Look at the homing missile in response to hold back gang. Both teams just backing off one of these 2 duo lanes. Mid lane Iceberg.
Yep, like I expected, he is leading in the CS slightly. Oh, is this going to be a kill here? He lands light straight away, freeze, but he still has a Fairy Fire. Just baiting him.
And both mids really after one another's lives there. Top lane Silent, despite the harassment, he's still doing okay and fun. Not quite as good as Sylar down on the Tiny on the bottom lane. Sylar leading CS.
Yeah, despite getting 2 kills, they are not like getting a lot of farm on the lane. And I see a Leaf here, but I always want to fly. But he's not able to secure the rune, so Fade on the Dark Willow is going to be picking up the rune, and he's going to run into a double damage. And he has no skill point in Shadow Realm, but he has 1 point in Bramble and Curse Crown. Let's see if he can do something with this. Maybe lead with a Curse Crown into Bramble. Iceberg, he is stepping far up, so there might be an opening here in the mid lane.
Oh, he's going to try and lead forward here, Freeze, but a quick light strike array from Iceberg.
Yeah, ideally they want to start with the Prison, but bot lane, they got the kill on the Treant.
I mean, mid lane again, they really are trying for this one. Iceberg, he came back in, but Freeze is going to have the backup of Fade. They'll take down Iceberg's Lina.
Yep, big pickup there. The OD had, needed some help. He was forced back to the base previously by the Lina, so that pickup there really gonna help him get back into the game. Bot lane, like you said, Tiny is just having all the farm that he wants, so despite going down earlier. Like, this is what you want, like, in the current meta. It's not about the kills, it's about how you control and secure the farm for the last hits for your carry. So right now, VGJ.Thunder, I would say pretty happy with top and bot lane. Middle maybe not so.
Ooh, Freeze. Fairy Fire and Astro is buying him some time, but Iceberg really wants to kill, and No Fear's there to make sure that they can secure it.
Well, big kill there, return kill.
And bottom lane. Look at this, Non-Grata dives in a bit too deep, gets hexed up. VGJ.Thunder able to turn around onto him.
Ah, I didn't see what happened there. Was he trying to pull the creeps or something?
He was underneath the tower. He just ran straight past it, was diving in.
Oh. Misplays here and there, and this is putting VGJ.Thunder into a really good spot right now. Apart from the OD having a much harder time, I think top and bot, they are really happy about what's happening here for the Doom and the Tiny. Tiny is going to have either a quick blink or a quick Shadow Blade to control the tempo of the game. Whereas for FlyToMoon, their tempo controller is going to be on this, I think will be mainly the gyro, moving around the map, trying to secure kills maybe with a Treant, hiding in the trees, setting up a punch.
Talking about the tree in bottom lane, DDC and Fade have found him walking around. Will get the living armor off, as well as the Aphotic Shield there, coming in as backup. It's actually going to be enough to keep him alive, though. It doesn't look like it. Silent with a quick toss and the tree.
Not enough, my friend. But here comes Iceberg.
Oh, he gets out of there. The combo wasn't enough from Iceberg, even with the Laguna Blade. And a quick Shadow Realm and TP out keeps Fade safe.
Yeah, great play there by Fade, realizing there's no stuns remaining. So easy TP out there. And top lane, call down here onto Yang. Homing missile gonna land. So pretty much a straightforward kill here for Fly to. Oh wait.
Oh, he nearly looked like he was going to get away there. As he is pretty tanky, that Doom, but the Scorched Earth for Burnout, not enough to keep Yang alive. Now towards mid, Fade. Trying to find the setup onto Iceberg, gets the initial route, puts the Cursed Crown down, but Iceberg is already underneath his tower, will be fine.
So let's see what this Abaddon's up to. I think generally the build right now is you just get the Helm of Dominator. I think that's something that you want to have every game on each team.
Yeah.
Because the item is just amazing. So the build-up should be Helm, maybe Face Boots, possible Radiance game if he gets a lot of farm. Otherwise, he'll be going for maybe the buffing build, the Solar mid lane.
Oh, I do open in onto Freeze. Freeze tries to go for the Self-Astral, but the damage is too much for FlyToMoon. They'll find one now. VGJ.Thunder trying with the return play, looking towards Iceberg, but the Living Armor comes through. Cursed Crown does hold him down as well as No Fear. But an extra bit of Living Armor out onto the Lina was enough to put off VGJ.Thunder for trying for the killers. Again, FlyToMoon get away with this pick-off onto the mid lane OD.
They're not really anticipating what the enemy is doing though. Like the supports were missing for quite some time. They were just like trying to smoke and get a kill on the Lina, but the OD got ganked first, so that was really bad. A wasted smoke, a dead core, a lot of investments there by VGJ.Thunder not working out. Doom on the other hand has his ultimate up, so we'll see whether he can get the kill on the gyro. That would be huge for them if they can actually secure this kill. He has the Thunderclap from the Ursa creep, from the Hellbear Smasher. So we'll see if he can actually get near him to get the Doom off.
There is the backup of Always Want to Fly here for Silence, so a little too hard really for VGJ.Thunder to make the plays. In fact, they're having to be the ones to back off and run away.
How about Tiny here? Is he ready to make a rotation? Not yet. 800 away from his blink. But still, sometimes you see Tiny players, you know, even without the blink, they would still make that crucial one or two early game rotations to help out if the other lanes are not going so well. Because right now, OD is struggle. He's in struggle city. He's having a really, really tough time here.
Yeah, Freeze, as you can see, beneath the two offlaners at the moment. And talking about the offlaners up top, Yang being gone upon, but he was able to turn around, drop the Doom down. Onto Silent. Silent trying to back himself away. Yang looking to chase, but there isn't enough damage to burst down Silent. Silent will be fine. No Fear. Turning up, looking towards DDC. Coming in with these big punches. Trying to find the Lion, but they won't be able to quite catch him. But they do keep Silent alive underneath the duration of that Doom.
But
so
still, like VGJ brought 3 heroes. The enemy brought 4, so I think they're not too upset about things. Freeze is able to have some space to farm in the mid lane because Lina rotated. But still, Doom is a really long cooldown, like 2-minute cooldown. Still, I guess...
it's pretty close.
Yeah, a good victory. I guess a good victory for FlyToMoon since it's a big spell at this stage of the game, despite bringing in 4 heroes. The Tiny is going to have his blink now, so the game has begun right now for VGJ.Thunder. He is going to move around, try to get a few pickoffs here and there, and the Lion's going to get a lane to farm. Like, pretty much when you play Lion, you want to have a core that moves around early, so you get the lane to, you know, buy early blink or sometimes get drums or Glimmer Cape, 4 stuff, anything, get levels. They're going to smoke up with the Dark Willow here.
Now let's see what they can find here, Fade and Sylar. As you say, with this Blink Dagger reveal, mid lane Iceberg would certainly be a nice pick to find, and in they go. Straight away, Sylar with the combo, and not a chance here for the Lina, as the Blink Dagger reveal a success for VGJ.Thunder as they find that big kill. Big
kill there for them. Can they make anything else happen out of this? Can they force a tower? Seems unlikely. They have already placed wards earlier, so not like the perfect smoke, but they got a big kill on Alena, and it helps the OD get back into the game. So right now, the next focus for VGJ.Thunder is to get levels on this Dark Willow. She's a bit behind in levels right now, level 4. I think Lion used the Tomb of Knowledge. Whereas for FlyToMoon, they have to try and use this gyro to control the pace of the game. So because the Abaddon is, I guess he's not in that kind of bad spot. I thought he would be poorer than he is now. He has the Helm completed.
I mean, look at this up top, No Fear. He comes in and he's giving full vision of the whereabouts of VGJ.Thunder. And in fact, they are going to get gone on here as they go straight away with the missile onto DDC. And they catch out the Lions. So the Invis from No Fear hiding in the tree lines, already causing some issues for Thunder, giving FlyToMoon that strategical advantage.
I guess this might be the thing with a hero like Trian. If a team is not used to like playing against him, you kind of sometimes forget that, oh, these are areas that you have to sentry against Trian. Stun, toss combo into Nograta, but that borrowed time there, making sure that he is okay. But wow, that was quite a TP there, going back all the way to the base spot here. Iceberg.
They found Yang and they've got the Laguna, so they'll have the burst to take down Tomb.
Yep, no chance whatsoever here for any retaliation, even though it was beside the shrine. But on the other hand, VGJ.Thunder is trying to get something in return. They're trying to force the mid tower, but Iceberg gonna run into the party.
Oh, DDC set up again, straight up. There's a bit of living armor, but it's not gonna help him live against the finger from DDC. Quick burst to take down Iceberg. Space is there for FlyToMoon to finish off the tower top. At the same time, mid lane tower. You got VGJ.Thunder already trying to bring this one down.
Yep, they placed the sentry down, anticipating the Trian to be nearby, but he is nowhere to be found. He's behind them, in fact. Call down, but Lion's gonna drop his stun, but not gonna do anything anymore after that. Rubik just running up.
He really wanted that steal, but he walks into a death. The three-man terrorize there from Fade as well, sending back the rest of FlyToMoon. In fact, the Cursed Crown, getting the two of them. Avalanche as well from the low ground. No Fear trying to keep himself alive with the living armor. Yang has got a run though. Photic Shield keeping No Fear alive. Yang being chased by the Rocket Barrage from Silent. He'll fall. Now Fade. He should be fine. He does still have the Shadow Realm and a TP out. And is already quite the distance away from FlyToMoon. But that certainly could have got a lot more messier for FlyToMoon, but they are able to keep themselves alive despite Fade trying to make the big plays with the Willow.
Just Dark Willow things, I guess, but they still wasted a Doom. Again, and not getting a kill on the core. I guess FlyToMoon should be still really happy about this, and they should secure this tower. I don't think VGJ.Thunder can fight without Doom. So I guess that's good news for them. And Sylar on the meantime, trying to shove out the top lane. He's close to his Echo Saber. That's gonna give Tiny a huge boost in damage.
Yeah, Sylar's. He's having that sort of big, good impact that he hoped for with the Blink Dagger timing so far. But Silent is keeping up very well on the gyro. Not far behind at all, Sylar. It's just a couple of 100 gold between these two position ones.
But he has 2 towers to his name, whereas Sylar has none.
True.
So technically, I would say the Tiny is ahead by quite a bit. But still, he has to carry the torch for his team around in terms of the momentum. The OD is not going to do anything for quite some time. He's going to just want to farm and catch up. Whereas for the Doom, I mean, he's poor, but he's still okay to fight as long as he has his ultimate. He's building into a blade mill, huh? Interesting. Should be useful, because there's a gyro and Lina.
Yeah, a lot of sort of so AoE damage that's going to be thrown out in the fights that Yang can make sure he clips himself with.
I don't know, like sometimes the blade mill can be very useless if you use it at the wrong time. So you have to. It's not like a standard like safe item. Like if you get a Crimson Guard to negate the damage, but OD gets jumped on again.
Does have the Astral. Will dodge the missile at both instances there of the cooldown. Still No Fear trying for this again. They go in with the Rocket Barrage, but there's the backup here from Yang. Tanking some of the Rocket Barrage damage freeze, running himself away, terrorize onto 2. Make sure that the fight and chase is over for FlyToMoon as they cannot go any further with Fade sending them back like that.
That was not the person that you want to see TPing in after the Trian setup. Like Abaddon, you want Abaddon to to be farming, and like ideally after the setup, like Lina and Rubik both have no TPs. They are essentially the follow-up for the Trian.
Yeah.
But none of them had TP, so that was quite a wasted move there. It was a good setup by the Trian, but unfortunately his team could not follow up, so opportunity wasted. And Freeze is going to finish up his 4-staff, so that's going to help him survive these Trian ganks in the future. Any other items coming up? Dark Willow is building into a use, not quite there yet. The blade mill we mentioned on Doom, still some time away. I would say FlyToMoon right now. if they can get a good pick-off with the Treant, they should always have this kind of initiating advantage over their opponents. If the Treant like always scouts him out, sets up a good fight for them with the overgrowth.
Yeah, if he's ever able to sort of find out Sylar at the start of
Yeah,
any sort of play that he looks for.
Or even the Dark Wheeler, I would say.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
These two are the key heroes in the fights that you want to take out first. Dark Wheeler for obvious reasons, because she's just Dark Wheeler, she does too much.
That's what they get with the smoke here. DDC is sort of on the front lines to block it off. Always want to fly. They'll go for the opener. And they will take the line. Bit of stun-on-stun action there between the two of them. A DDC will fall once again.
That should give away the ward, I guess. Why would the support be there, you know? Let's see whether FlyToMoon get the D-ward here. It's a pretty useful ward. It sees a lot of the Ancients area, and if in the near future VGJ.Thunder wants to get the tower. But because they are up against a Treant, and you push and you don't get the tower, it means you're wasting time. Because the Treant will just fix the tower, but Tiny gets a pick off on the support.
Yep, Finds always want to fly out on his own. Just a little bit too far away from his team.
Yeah, against Tiny you really want to have those raindrops, so he doesn't kill you in one combo. But right now, I guess the raindrops probably wouldn't matter that much because he has the echo, so he has the double hit. There's a lot of physical damage with the tree.
Oh, look, it's down there as well. The sentry placement, they had their eyes here onto the tree, but no fear. He's actually going to be able to keep himself alive a little bit with the living armor. Does still fall, but the return kills, are they going to be there for FlyToMoon? They're chasing down Sylar, they've got it. So sure, they'll lose the tree, but they turn around and get to him response. Mid lane, Sanity Eclipse drop down, burst on Grata.
Oh, he gets finger.
Can he turn this play around? Always want to fly.
He's alone there. But who was the person starting the gank? It was the Tiny, right? But they got they got ganked in return because there was the Gyro and the Lina there behind the Treant Protector. Like, I would say these are the kind of areas you want to have like sentries on against the Treant. Because pretty much the Treant is usually going to be lurking around these areas trying to like set up a kill, gain information for his team. So far, I guess so good for FlyToMoon. They have the tower advantage. Farm-wise, it's pretty even.
No, it's not looking too bad at all for them, especially sort of coming into this matchup. A lot of people would not have known what to really expect from FlyToMoon against VGJ.Thunder. And yeah, these first 19 minutes looking pretty solid indeed.
I would say this Treant so far has been working great for them, setting up a lot of kills with the vision. And next objective will be trying to get the Roshan here for FlyToMoon. They have the medallion up on the Abaddon. Like I said, I was thinking about what kind of items that he would be going for. Since he wasn't like super rich this game, he's going into the more support kind of Abaddon. The backline, buffing the carry, so he's going for a Solar with the Helm, maybe with Aghanim's later, or even like maybe a Lotus Orb because it's against a Doom. So the thing I don't like about that build is like you're always going to be like counting on your team to carry you as an Abaddon instead of like when you have Radiance as a Abaddon, you do a lot of damage in the fights. But since they have Lina and Gyro, I guess he feels like he's not needed in the damage department.
No, yeah, he just needs to sort of keep those cores alive.
The team player, you know, some may say. Gyro is almost... actually not almost, I thought he had two pieces. He just has a Meteor Hammer, so once you have this BKB as Gyro, I guess with the BKB you want to like get the Roshan or force towers, but ideally you want to get the Rosh first, then you force the tier 2 towers. That would be the safest play with the item timings of FlyToMoon. And on the other hand, VGJ.Thunder, they are really going to have to... Well, I guess Odie is not too far from BKB if he wants to get it now instead of the usual 4-star blink or pike into BKB.
Let's see what they can get here.
Oh, he goes for the blink.
Okay. I mean, yeah, very nice with the escape potential and his Astral, of course.
Yeah.
Getting himself out of sort of any combos that they try and open up with the Lina or the Gyro.
It's just a bread and butter for the hero. And here comes the smoke here from FlyToMoon. They're not going to wait for their BKB. They feel like they're really strong. If they can get a good setup here.
They're going to look towards DDC first. DDC does turn around with a quick stun. Iceberg has the light strike from the low ground. They'll take down DDC. The rest of VGJ.Thunder, though, turn towards No Fear and Always Want to Fly, get 2 supports in return for just losing one of their own. Iceberg looking for the wrap around. He's trying to fight around the shrine, but indeed Yang, with the Doom still available, goes straight in on top of the Lina. Silent and Nograta starting to fight back. There'll be a buyback coming in from No Fear. Silent has managed to find a double kill. They are going to be able to get the OD as well. Triple kill for Silent as FlyToMoon punish VGJ.Thunder there, who wanted to try and take a fight by the shrine. feeling confident in the fact that they got the Doom down onto one of the cores, but no matter
What?
Fade, he's actually going to get out of it. That juke spot.
That juke spot should be quite known right now, like so many players have used it. But still working out there for Fate, but they did lost the fight. So Roshan is going to be given up. I'd say the buyback was also okay for Nofi. I'm not sure if he actually saved Iceberg, but it was still, I would say, a good buyback for support there. So I guess Aegis onto... Wait.
They've found the Rubik here, and they will get him, but FlyToMoon, seeing if they can get anything in response. They'll look for the chase down onto Fade. Homing missile is coming in. Iceberg as well, zipping closer and closer. The stun from DDC is actually going to miss. DDC trying to drain some of the mana, but there's enough for the Light Strike Array still to be there. FlyToMoon take the kill.
Huh, that was a very interesting move there by the Rubik. It was so, like, generally when you break smokes, because your team is Roshaning, you don't do it that far ahead. But still worked out because they did trade for a position for Willow, so you would consider that like a better trade for FlyToMoon.
I see that up top as well. No Fear did have his eyes on Sylar. Sylar was hiding in the trees. Does now have a completed Shadow Blade, so No Fear, without the sort of detection, won't play around with him any longer. Sylar's out of there.
He's going for a Silver Edge next, which will be, I guess, sort of useful against the Baron, but you can still pop your borrowed time manually if you get hit by the break. But I guess
they've got the Hex. If they get the Hex on,
yeah, Hex and Silver Edge.
That would do the job.
He would also be useful on the gyro because if you break the gyro is like a very damage intensive hero. You reduce the damage coming out from him.
Oh, not anymore. They changed that, remember, Winter.
Oh, forehead.
It's alright. You're just testing people.
No, I actually forgot.
You were revealing the patch notes for tonight. They're going to add that back in, Winter. But yeah, anyway, we're seeing again that quick replay of earlier, where FlyToMoon were able to take that fight back in their favor there due to the overextension of VGJ.Thunder.
They're chasing right now. The homing missile's gonna land on Sylar. Silent is just running in. I have BKB, I have no fear.
Let's see what they can get. They're trying to get some sort of a chase, but indeed VGJ.Thunder proving to be just a little too speedy. FlyToMoon unable to quite get that grab.
Yeah, they just want to use this Aegis right now to get as much objectives on the map as possible before it expires. So Fate here gonna run into the enemy team. He should be fine because he's Dark Needle. Okay, maybe not. Do they have any stuns to cancel?
Oh yeah, they got the instant grab. Telekinesis from Always Wanna Fly. Throws him up in the air, leaves no chance for Fade to fly his way out.
Yeah, and good steal as well. Having the Bramble Mace is pretty useful for Rubik because you can toss them like your lift into the Bramble Mace.
Oh yeah, they've got so much sort of AoE control in these fights to combo with. Lots of ways to play around with that if they can find the opportunity to kick off a big team fight bottom lane. They look towards Sylar. How deep do they want to dive though? DDC coming in with a wraparound, but Nongrata straight on top of him. So they will get the Doom down onto the Gyro, but Gyro is backing away. This Doom is just going to keep Silent out of the fight for now. So VGJ.Thunder can look towards the other kills. They'll take down the Rubik. Iceberg does now get surrounded.
They have a shrine.
Is there any way that they can sort of save this man? It does not look like they'll try with the Mist Coil, but the Aegis is taken out of his hands. They'll kill off the Lina once. Can they do it again, though? Iceberg is going to be able to dodge out the stun from DDC. They have the homing missile down onto the Tiny. Terrorize is going to be juked out. Catches nobody. Quick with the finger onto Silent, but it's not enough. Living armor and BKB, keeping the gyrocopter strong. Fade's going to try for the TP out the sidelines. He goes away with the Shadow Realm. Nongrata turning towards the two of them, and he has called them out as well. No Fear with the two-man route. Buyback from DDC. They will get the deny here as Iceberg takes himself out of the fight here, realizing this is not the place for FlyToMoon to be. Nongrata trying to run himself away, but with the borrowed time already popped, he is in a lot of trouble. VGJ.Thunder able to take 3 from FlyToMoon, as well as getting the Aegis out of their hands. Always Want to Fly. Again, he's sticking around for these steals. That's the second time we've seen him do that. It's cost him his life.
Okay.
And now VGJ.Thunder, they've got a bit of momentum back towards themselves. They move straight down the mid lane. They've got the creeps coming in. They'll take a tier 1 tower.
When these are the small little things that would differentiate a great support player and an average support player, like giving all these extra kills away just because you're greedy for a steal or you're greedy for a rune. But the fight just went on too long, you know, for FlyToMoon. After you use your overgrowth, like you look at their lineup, and Rubik died very early in the fight, so who is going to be your stun?
Yeah.
Like they have very little lockdown. Like the Lina stun is not that reliable in those kind of like very scattered engagements. because you're realistically not going to have a use into stun combination when there's so many heroes around. So whenever they use the overgrowth, they have to like get a kill and get out. They can't really fight those kind of long stretch out engagements against like especially an OD. He's stealing in, and the fight is going on, and he's going to be really happy. Didn't even have to use the Sanity's Eclipse for the fight.
On the plus side there for FlyToMoon, they do manage to hold on to the tier 1 tower, and of course with the tree on their lineup.
But BKB is online for OD. This is not good. They have, I think they have already passed their power peak with the gyro BKB there. Losing that fight was really bad for them. Like you might look at the fight like, oh, they just lost like 2k gold, but because of the power spike of their lineups, losing that fight has actually a huge, like a bigger consequences than just losing that 2k net worth lead that they have. Because you are supposed to be winning those fights at that time of the game. And right now, I would say the power spike of the lineups right now is on favor of VGJ.Thunder with this BKB on the OD. The OD Doom plus Tiny Trico are much stronger right now. And against the Doom, you're always going to have like one core deleted for like a good portion amount of the time in the fights. So the game is just going to become harder and harder for FlyToMoon here. Always one of he has to be careful with all these deaths that he's been giving away though. Even though you can argue that, oh, this patch is like a support dying, not giving away gold, but still
it adds up.
Every bit counts, you know. Being greedy, trying to steal, like it's not just once. He did it a few times trying to get a good steal off and he died. Like his team is gonna need to rely on the Rubik to do a lot in the fights, because if you look at their lineup, right, Abaddon is just like going to be buffing and saving people. Trian is a setup. Lina and Gyro, one of those two heroes are definitely going to get doomed.
Yeah, we've seen why each time Silent does get caught out.
You kind of have to rely on another hero to to fill in the gaps in the meantime, and that's going to be the Rubik. But if Rubik's just going to die like this every time, then it's going to be really hard for FlyToMoon. Like he's gonna be that X factor, in the fights. If he gets a good steal, say like a Lion Hex, a stun from Lion, or even the Doom, the extra little thing, or anything from the Dark Willow.
Well, we do have this short pause at the moment, ladies and gentlemen. So apologies for that. Looks like we've got some issues with some of the members of FlyToMoon. I think one of them was AFK, so hopefully we'll be able to get them back into the game.
AFK?
Yeah, it showed him on the camera. There was empty seat.
It's a toilet break.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what our current rules are. I'm sure there are rules in place.
We don't get toilet breaks, Owen.
I mean, we can. You need to go to the toilet? I'll cover for you. Yeah, it'll be fine. We'll be alright. We won't miss your winter. I'm just joking. I'll miss your winter.
Of course you won't miss me after that. I'll be fired. Toilet breaks? You can have toilet breaks all day in the hotel.
Well, there you go. Looks like, indeed, we're just waiting on a short pause.
I remember. Gyrocopter is your hero.
Is it? I mean, I used to play a lot of
Gyro used to be your hero. You were like, yeah, I'm going to skill stats instead of homing missile.
Oh, back when you had stats in the game. Well, that was the thing, yeah. You wouldn't need homing missile back in the day.
You were like, homing missile?
Dude, you just get stats, max barrage, which, we see people do that nowadays still.
You know, there's one thing about Gyro that I've been thinking about a lot is, why don't people go for the Rocket Barrage talent, since it's like... It's like a 30%.
Well, what's the option?
50%.
That's the extra flak hits, right?
Yeah, against the extra effects. I've never seen anyone go for it because, like, since you get the flak got nerfed.
I mean, the extra flak is always going to be more damage in the team fights, isn't it? You know what I mean? It's, I don't know. You're right. The Rocket Barrage is definitely not terrible. It's just the fact that
upgrade in damage.
But when are you getting off like a full Rocket Barrage in the face of someone in a fight?
Yeah,
it's very hard. It's one of those spells that you sort of miss the timing with. One of the reasons why it gets leveled first is because of the earlier stage of the game. It is so potent, but it falls off very hard.
You would get it if it's at level 10.
Maybe you would get it if you're like stomping the game and you're just running down people, and you have some other sort of boost to magical damage like an AA.
BKB.
He's turning. He's trying at least. Terrorize is going to send back his two teammates. He goes in with the Laguna Blade onto Sylar. Still not quite enough damage to burst through the time.
Dark Willow, yeah, sure. Why not? And status resistance on Tiny. That's why the Lina couldn't got a combo off. She was so confused. She was going to stun. And the Abaddon with the Helm Dominator creep just stomp first. So, oh, I have 2 seconds. I have 2 seconds to get my follow-up. But it's on a tiny,
Yeah.
so...
I mean, yeah, it's very unlikely we're going to see Iceberg really be able to just kill the Silas Tiny in those sort of situations until maybe Iceberg picks up like a DPS item or something. It's just very hard to...
Yeah, you mentioned earlier, I think before the game started, that Lina has this kind of issues of like damage-wise, because her skill set has been nerfed a lot, so she doesn't do so much damage now. But looking at that talents, I guess when you get to...
She's got some good talents,
yeah,
hasn't she?
level 20 talent with the Fiery Soul stacks, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a really good one.
But the thing is, like, you don't actually get a damage item on this hero until very late.
No, because, I mean, you're such a glass cannon here. Which, yeah.
So here we see Smoke by VGJ.Thunder. They have the blink completed on the Doom, so they are really, really strong.
Are they going to be able to catch here? That's a big goal indeed from No Fear, holding them down, giving a chance for Silent to turn. Gets the rocket barrage out and will be able to burst down DDC. He's been doomed, but he doesn't care because he already managed to cast off the flat cannon. Chasing them down, they've got the vision onto Silo. They're going to be able to take down the Tiny as well. Tiny finally falls here. Quick toss to try and hold them back. Always want to fly wall fall on the sidelines and freeze. He's been surrounded. He pops the BKB. He's trying to get himself out of there, but there's life drive from Iceberg and FlyToMoon.
What are they doing there? They have no gem and they were walking like this. And he didn't even like place a sentry when the smoke broke.
Now that was, I mean, yeah, No Fear having
I mean,
the root of his life just gets all 4 of them.
4-man route there. There was just, and they were right beside the shrine.
And they
as well.
walked into it. As you say, they just were not prepared to check this sort of area.
This is the kind of thing where sometimes you play these kind of heroes that is not common. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. This Dark Willow hero, is he ever going to die?
Oh, no, he's definitely dead this time round, surely. Cooldown hits him through the Shadow Realm. They've got the AoE. They'll take down the Willow. FlyToMoon.
This Trian so far has been quite an impressive performance here for his team.
And they've got a full halberd completed on the Abaddon as well, so really ready to limit the output of the, well, mainly the OD in these fights. That duration of disarm.
I guess you still probably can consider, you know, getting the solar, so the evasion is still good. I guess you still want, you kind of want both against OD. But either way, right now, the pace of the game has moved back towards the dire side, FlyToMoon.
It's been a little back and forth. I mean, Iceberg, he's also got a DD in the ball.
Second Roshan is up, so they should be looking to check. I'm not sure if they checked, maybe they didn't. So that should be the next important point of the game for either team. But they're going to force the hack.
Yeah. I mean, they've got the DD on Lina. And look at that Fiery Soul goes to work. Punching in, Yang.
Double stun.
Is going to try and kick things off. They've got the Terrorize down, but there's the root holding Yang in place. Yang pops the BKB, turns towards Silent, but Silent gets his own BKB out. Now turns back towards Yang. Now VGJ.Thunder having to back away. The space is there for them to take the tier 3 town. Look at Iceberg just going to work onto these racks. They are going to jump forward on Silent, trying to put a stop to it, but Iceberg's got the BKB. FlyToMoon take the melee racks. And now they may even look to stick around for the fight if VGJ.Thunder poke a little too hard. They'll go forward onto No Fear. Looks like FlyToMoon are going to leave the tree behind. But they're out of there. They got what they came for, as they do manage to find the tier 3 and the melee barracks.
Yep, and they managed to save the gem as well. Was it the opponent's gem? Not sure. I can't see. But that would be crucial for them. So Roshan will be up next for either team. I think if FlyToMoon can secure this Aegis and Cheese, they should be able to break another lane of racks. So it'll be really important for VGJ.Thunder to make sure that that does not happen. They have pretty good heroes in the Roche Pit. That AoE combo of the Tiny, especially the Dark Willow, is really, really good in the Roche Pit. So those are the two key things to look out for in the next upcoming Roche fight. They're going to get the tower here. Since Trian is down, I don't think the Dire side is going to be able to do much here. They're pretty much going to wait for the Trian to revive. Any crucial items? So the Trian almost has his blink. That will be really useful for the next team fight.
And they've got that butterfly on Silent, so a fair bit of punch from the Gyro in these fights as well.
Yeah, a lot of evasion against the OD.
Yeah.
He needs an MKB ASAP. But I don't think he's building one.
No, it's never really the item that you want to be building on the OD.
Yeah, but I guess he doesn't really have a choice though. There's a halberd. There might be a solar, and there's this butterfly on the Gyro. gonna be tough, but we'll see. Like you mentioned, MKB is not like an item that you want to go early. Like generally, if you go for MKB on OD, it's more like a really late game item. But right now, they scouted the Roche.
And look at Iceberg. Iceberg's got a completed Daedalus. After he picks up the Steaming Edge in about 30 gold time.
Yeah, this is the thing with Lina though. Like, it takes so long for her to actually start to build damage item. But she's gonna hurt a lot right now with the talent.
If she gets the chance to sit back and punch away, this Lina is gonna be doing all the work in these fights.
So I guess Aegis on Gyro, she's on Lina? Oh no, she's on the other way around.
Yeah, I guess, you know, if you're silent and you're going in on the front, you want to make sure you are going to be able to live for the duration of cast of the flak. Now the jump in from Yang. Plus his BKB. Look at this damage though from Iceberg. Iceberg just punching through the Doom. He's going to be able to take down one now. He turns towards Sylar. Look at the damage from this Lina. Sylar, he's having to run. The stun does come out for DDC, but no fear comes forward. He's trying to slow this one down. Can he get to the Hurricane Pike hits from OD? Stealing the in is going to allow the space for Sylar to get back for now. As a defensive Astral also comes in from Freeze, just trying his best to keep Sylar alive. Sanities comes through. Will burst down No Fear as they've lost two. But they just can't seem to do anything about Iceberg. Iceberg is getting away with a lot in these fights. Now they look to move in on him. They have the Root, they have the Hex. Silent and Non-Grudder still nearby to back him off. Sylar jumps in, looking for the kill onto Iceberg. Iceberg does still have that Aegis. He'll keep his distance, Freeze. Jumps in.
The Gem is going to be hitting a deck, I guess.
Yeah, it's got the borrowed time, Non-Grudder, but as you say, it looks like he is going to be left behind. The rest of the team bailing out of here.
Yeah, a bit of overextension here. Like FlyToMoon, they did show a lot of promise in the laning phase, but remember the first fight where they had Aegis and they overextended. They chased after the Treant ultimate is down. This is like kind of like a very similar situation. This time a buyback on the Lion, you know. That should already signal, you know, get back guys, but they were still trying to fight because they had the Aegis and Cheese, but did not work out for them.
No, not at all.
I mean, if they can polish up all this kind of like decision-making mistakes, I think I can see them doing well in this event.
Yeah, they've got there's certain aspects of what we've seen so far this game have looked pretty impressive, especially with this draft that is a bit different. You know, we don't see Treant sort of in any game, and we don't see Lina every game. But both of these players, No Fear and Iceberg, are making these two heroes work.
Yeah, he's been doing a really good job on the Treant, especially, you know, finding the openings with the vision advantage that he gives the team, and now with the blink on top of things.
Yeah,
it's gonna make him really annoying in the fights.
Oh, DDC jumping in here. Fade was playing around with the Idol to terrorize. Now Fade has looked to just try and turn and hide in the trees. No Fear jumps forward, has the quick route onto DDC. The Lion will fall. Can they get more out of this? Trying to chase down Sylar. No Fear, keeping the damage upon him. Will put the BKB. Does have the Silver Edge, and that should be enough to just get him out into safety. Sylar will be able to sneak himself away.
Where's the detection? Only Rubik has a sentry. Oh, they're gonna need the Treant to carry some detection. So okay, he's bought a dust. You don't want to just put the detection burden on your position 5 support. You know, someone has to help him out. Yeah,
especially when your tree's got the blink now.
And for VGJ.Thunder right now, they lost a melee Rex. OD's gonna have a Hex in a few minutes. Not soon, but a few minutes. They're not like winning the fights well right now. They're having a really tough time in the fights because in the last fight you mentioned, the Gyro just absolutely destroying the enemy team with the flat cannon.
Look at this up top, No Fear.
Yeah, guess what? It's Dark Willow, the hero that is just
so hard to catch.
So hard to catch. And he kills you when he sees you. What a hero.
He is out of there.
Yeah, but like I said, this Gyro is just being a huge problem right now in the team fights for VGJ.Thunder. They have to like doom him before he does anything, but then it's gonna be difficult when the Treant is always running around scouting, and there's gonna be like a Baron being by his side. So the fights are gonna be really difficult for VGJ.Thunder right now. They have to somehow burst the supports. I guess the supports, you need to kill the supports right away. with the Tiny. Like either the Rubik or the Trion has to die first.
Top tower, FlyToMoon will take him now. Once again, looking to pressure another lane of the high ground of VGJ.Thunder, and we'll see how VGJ.Thunder respond. Iceberg, look at this attack speed, punching through the tier 3 tower. He's already put it down to half health. He's got the backup from the living armor and aphotic shields. Jump forward, they are going to look to commit straight away onto this Lina. He's getting hexed up. Iceberg, and they kill him off. He keeps himself to the side. Again, the living armor, healing him back up, and Iceberg can just stand his ground, and with that range, continue to siege onwards and take off the tier 3.
They have 5 buybacks for this fight for VGJ.Thunder if needed. Their enemy team is going to pull back right now. They're going to just play it safe because the Aegis timer is running out. So non-Grata on the Abaddon, he actually finishes a dagger on top of the Solar Crest. So he's just going for this pure utility Abaddon just to keep the Lina and the Gyro alive in the fight. So next item, I would say Aghanims. If you can get the Aghanims, it's more or less you're just gonna win the game with the Aghanims if you need to get to that point.
Iceberg, he's gone for the Monkey King bar. So, I mean, Monkey King bar and Daedalus, it's...
And the last item, Rapier.
So much. Rapier Lina. I mean, if he needs it, if he gets to that point, because at the moment, they are playing with the momentum, FlyToMoon, to put a close to this game pretty soon if they're able to get onto the high ground once again.
If you have a Abaddon with Aghanims, I would say it's quite safe to have the Rapier.
Sure. Yeah, lots of ways of keeping Iceberg alive, as we've seen, that despite being on the Lina, because of how farmed he is at this stage, VGJ.Thunder is still unable to really disable him and take him out permanently at the start of the fight.
Like all these fights right now, they have to kill this Trion. Like the longer the Trion is alive, he's just gonna annoy the OD. Even because he disables you through BKB, so the OD can't really do damage. The Tiny has to find him, kill him, but for that to happen, it's kind of weird, right? Because the supports are holding the gem, like the Dark Wheel is holding the gem, and he's not really near in the fights. That's why sometimes you see that even when you have a gem on the team, you still get sentries and you sentry around the area. So if you see the Trion and the support is not there, you can still kill him, like as a call. You don't really need to rely on the gem all the time.
No, and it can certainly catch teams off guard, because as you said, they check the adventure, they're like, he hasn't got the gem. There's not going to be any detection around him. Indeed, that sort of play can let you get on top of the team.
Yep, and right now it's more about like who gets jumped first already in the fights. Because both sides have so much damage with their heroes, so it's going to come down to the jumps and the vision. If I see you first, you die. That's pretty much going to be the key battle. But against like for VGJ.Thunder, they have to take into one more thing to consider, which is the Abaddon, because he can save his teammates. So that would be maybe the Lion's job or even the Dark Wheel, so that when they go on the first initial target, they have to disable the Abaddon.
Sylar has completed his MKB on Tiny now, so ways to punch through the invasion of two cores of FTM.
He still dies easily in the fights though, as a Tiny.
I mean, if Iceberg gets the chance to get his hands on him, that certainly is the case. And we'll see if that's going to happen here. As a smoke on smoke action comes through VGJ.Thunder.
Who's getting the high ground here? Who is going to be on the high ground? That's going to be a decisive factor.
But who's getting the DD rune?
Oh no.
As Iceberg, he's got it in the bottle. DD Lina with Monkey King bar and Daedalus is something that VGJ.Thunder will want to think about twice before fighting into.
If they know about it. But there was no ward there.
No, this could catch them off guard. But at the moment, VGJ.Thunder, they do stand their ground over in the jungle of FlyToMoon, hoping to catch someone else, but it's not going to be the case, as FlyToMoon will now start revealing himself. Iceberg shows mid. Pops the DD.
This is bad. They see them. Oh, another smoke here by VGJ.Thunder. This might be the X factor that might
they really
catch
want to try
out.
and take this, indeed.
High ground, high ground. Just stay on the high ground. That's the rule of thumb here in these kind of situations.
I think they know VGJ, that they're pinging onto it. Sylar is going to jump forward straight away. BKB's out from freeze. They have got the Doom down onto the Abaddon this time. It's going to be their target. But look at Iceberg. Look at this damage here from Iceberg, Yang. He's getting punched out. He's going to fall. Iceberg is just doing way too much for them to deal with. With the DD rune, the Daedalus, and the Monkey King bar, they just cannot come near this Lina. As Fade is going to try and come and play in here with Iceberg. The buybacks having to come out from both sides here. Silence brought back. Yang has brought back on VGJ.Thunder. FlyToMoon wanting to keep this 5-man push going. As Iceberg, he'll push on. He'll take a second melee racks here from VGJ.Thunder. as they just seem unable to do anything about the Lina in these fights. Iceberg is just getting a free pass every single time.
Well, he has his teammates to thank for that though, because there's a Abaddon, there's a Trian, there's a lot of like save for him. And they felt like they needed to doom the Abaddon, which I'm not sure if that was the best case scenario.
Oh, and on the side, they've got the grab in. DDC will jump in with the stun, but the BKB's out from Silent. DDC taken down. And with this, FlyToMoon can easily hold their ground, push onto the tier 3 tower. They have lost Nofa on the Trian. He's going to buy back. He knows this is the fight to push on and win the game as Yang just gets critted down by Iceberg. FlyToMoon take a third melee Rax.
And most likely the game here. They've already used buybacks on the Doom.
And Iceberg just absolutely cleaning up. And I think, as you said, definitely the thing for VGJ.Thunder was this game. They were playing up against a lineup that they probably haven't experienced at least in quite some time. Solo's trying to fight in. He pops the BKB, but the root's there through the magic immunity. Fade using Iceberg to hold him back. But they'll turn. They'll look towards Fade. They'll take him down. And they will indeed call GG as FlyToMoon take game 1 here in this best-of-3 series. And they do it in their own sort of style as well. And a style which I think coming into game 2, when you look at the draft, surely there's going to be changes made by Thunder. They may take away some of these heroes that they may not be too used to playing against.
I don't know about that for sure though, because I felt like you can put some criticism onto the draft as much as you want, but still they didn't play a good game. They had like a few opportunities in the game. I felt like they didn't capitalize, especially on the few early dooms. They wasted like 2 dooms and they didn't really get a kill. They didn't really like win anything from those 2 dooms. Like Tiny still had a really good timing on the blink. He went top. He helped his team.
Yeah.
But apart from the Tiny, I feel like the Doom and the OD, they were pretty underwhelming in this game. And bearing the fact that I understood that OD would have a much more difficult matchup against the Lina, but I still felt like the Lion and the Dark Wheel maybe not the best like hero synergy between the duo. I'm not sure, but the main thing is like I feel like their play was lackluster in certain aspects during the game, and it wasn't just all on they have a draft that this is not so good against their opponents.
Wow. So I mean, other than that, looking back at this game 1, was there anything that sort of particularly impressed you about the way that FlyToMoon played? I mean, any sort of individual performance that you...
Trian, I think he definitely had a really good performance on Trian. He understood how to use the vision to secure his team a really good fight. Like start the fight with a punch onto someone, then a root follow up, and his team TPing in. I think he's really good with that. And not to mention, Iceberg, he had a pretty fantastic game as a Lina. During the early parts of the game, we felt like, they might be lacking damage on the Lina, but Gyro sort of like covered up that department because Gyro still outputs an insane amount of damage. So I think apart from the Trian and the Lina, I think everyone played okay, but the Trian and the Lina definitely played much better than their teams.
Sure, no, they did excel this game. Iceberg and No Fear, of course. So, ladies and gentlemen, game 1 as it stands, this best-of-3, FlyToMoon take the advantage against VGJ.Thunder. But for now, we'll pass you back to our panel of analysts.
Yeah, thank you very much, Owen and Winter, and that was game 1 of the series. It was a lot more convincing for FlyToMoon than I think we were expecting, but gods, you were never doubting. Your prediction was correct.
It was close. I had a few doubts during the game, I think. Definitely wasn't a completely clear-cut victory. I think for me, the big up point for them in their draft is that VGJ couldn't take any towers. Like the entire first 25, 30 minutes of the game, they took the one tier 1 tower top. This mid tier 1 just kept getting healed up by the Trian Protector. The Trian had a really big game, great overgrowth in team fights, kept all the towers alive. The max living armor just made everyone a lot harder to kill in the early game as well. So yeah, really, really good showing.
Yeah,
no fear for, I guess, a surprising number of games. Like we had mentioned before, 4 positions was going to be important. And typically, I expect a max nature guys for a Trian Protector to be most effective. But like God said, the max living armor worked out exceptionally well because it's so frustrating whenever you don't have a team that can push and you take a tower down to half HP and you're like, well, we'll come back later and finish it. But against Trian, that's just not possible. And so much map control was I guess, like, preserved by FlyToMoon for such a long period of time that Iceberg was able to come back into the game. And it was kind of what I was saying, like, you can try shutting down Iceberg early on, but he will come back in
He
a
did.
very classic fashion.
It was a great game for him because he's like, you can do me all you want, but you know I'm gonna right-click your heroes anyway. He didn't get scared by that at all. I felt like the Doom was such a non-factor this game.
Yeah.
Didn't feel like a good Doom game, and
No.
that was their final pick of the draft. I mean,
Yeah.
they didn't have last pick, so fourth, fifth pick, kind of the same thing. But
Yeah.
it didn't really feel like he had anyone good to Doom. Like he doomed a Gyro, the Gyro wouldn't die, would still dish out damage,
Yeah.
same thing. Later fights even doomed Abaddon. The fact that he doomed like 3 or 4 different heroes throughout the course of the game shows that like there wasn't a clear purpose for the Doom. They didn't know how to use him if they're dooming someone different every fight.
Yeah, and the FlyToMoon squad wasn't even pressured to get Lincoln spheres. Like, Lina had one queued up and was like, I'll just get a BKB, actually.
Yeah.
And then Gyro ended up finishing one, like, later on, but by that point, it didn't really matter.
Yeah, it felt like maybe sometimes VGJ.Thunder wasn't really on the same page either. We had at some point an Astral being used on
On a
Alina
Doom
that
target.
was already
Yeah.
doomed.
Yeah.
There were a few fights that they
It's
could have
rough.
won if they coordinate better. The Astral onto the hero that was just got stunned by the Cursed Crown. I think OD could have killed Lina there. Then there was a fight over by the Dire Shrine near the Ancients, which was where there was like a 4-man overgrowth and Doom BKBs and fights. Meanwhile, OD banishes himself and doesn't fight. So it felt like if they both fought there, it could have been okay, or if they both ran away. So a couple small things just didn't work out for VGJ in the team fights.
We had talked about during the draft, like, if you have to build your line with First Light and Blink, that's usually a place that you don't want to have to be with the hero. And DDC felt railroaded into getting the Blink because Willow wasn't able to complete one. Willow ended up completing her Blink after the Lion. So it was kind of up to DDC to be pseudo-initiation because Tiny had a great start, but then the rest of FlyToMoon were too tanky that Tiny couldn't solo. So then DDC had to come in, and then you just had all these heroes falling into traps.
Dying for a courier, by the way, at 2.5 minutes, that is worth it.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that was definitely some fun Treant plays. I mean, from the start, getting kills for the team, securing that off lane. They actually killed the Tiny very early on, even though he still had a great game and a lot of farm. But it's that mid lane. It was Iceberg who was the big player. These 2 ganks set him back. He died twice in a row to Tiny's Blink Dagger, but he still caught up. You know, I mentioned, this is the guy you can't really truly shut him down if you ever give him a little bit of space.
Right.
Yeah, and this is still, in the end, I mean, I believe they still get the Tiny here, so that's still a worthy trade as well. We talked, as you mentioned, Tsunami, we talked about that 4 position. You got a Willow versus a Treant. Now, typically, Treant is not the most, I would say, the most aggressive 4, but it turned out to be a lot more aggressive than the Willow ended up being.
Yeah, and again, which is weird because it was out a max out guys,
Yeah.
and this was that Astral fight that we were mentioning where Freeze just kind of wasn't really on the same page.
Yeah.
Even in the this fight, you'll see the OD self-banish, BKB activated on Doom, and DDC is just soaking it all up, and Sylar's like, I can't join this fight. Then OD reemerges, activates his BKB and wants to fight, but
Yeah, too late then.
too late.
Yeah, and this Gyrocopter, Doom doesn't care.
Yeah, it felt like a recurring theme. Like, the hero that was doomed didn't really care all that much. I think this was maybe the best Doom of them all. At least seemed
But
to stop.
Quickly countered by a solid overgrowth.
Yes. I think they quickly learned this Abaddon shield was countering a lot of what the Dark Willow did, and you can kind of really see what they had in mind with picking the Abaddon in the first 2 as a response to Dark Willow, is that you can just purge off a lot of those annoying pesky spells, the roots, the stuns, and that just really helped enable these cores.
I think the idea behind that Doom was Sylar was supposed to immediately follow up with the break, but No Fear's overgrowth stopped out Sylar from getting that Silver Edge proc, and Abaddon just went to town.
It's always really hard to do. It's like one of those things where you invest so much money to try and be able to kill an Abaddon before he ulties. It's like the old Silver Edge Orchid build where, yeah, you can kill an Abaddon with it, but if you don't manage to do it perfectly, you've just spent like 10k on items with one idea in mind, and hey, it didn't work.
The FlyToMoon played really well. How much of it was that the draft allowed them to play the way they did?
I think they got a draft they were very happy with.
Yeah.
In terms of comfort pick for
The Rubik
Silent.
100% is preserved.
Yes.
Rubik. But I don't feel like they outdrafted VGJ necessarily. I think the draft was actually pretty even. The main weakness of VGJ being their pushing limitations, but they still had good team fight, and I think if they win a few team fights like that OD Miss Astral, like that fight could have gone VGJ's way, and suddenly the game looks very different.
Yeah.
But more than anything, having a comfort draft for game 1 is always a good place to be.
And now having a 1 victory in a BO3 on home soil, that's also a good place to
Yeah.
be.
I mean, you said it was going to be a 2-0 if they won the
One
first
way or
game.
the other. So you know my prediction for the next game.
I do,
Don't
I
even
do.
need to see the draft.
No, I will still
Yeah.
ask him after
Alright,
the
fine.
draft as well. You kind of have to here. But I mean, there is going to be a game 2. We are soon going to see if they can pick it up. If VGJ.Thunder can make a comeback here. Overall, though, I mean, maybe it was just a warm-up game because they did drop some balls.
Right. The team fight execution was lacking.
Yes.
Initially, I was saying that late game decision making was going to be in VGJ.Thunder's favor, and more often than not, it proved that FlyToMoon were more capable of knowing when to fight and who to engage on.
Yeah. Solid
But
performance from
a
FlyToMoon.
good season premiere of the Iceberg show.
Oh, for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I
And
think-
this is, by the way, because there was at some point there was like a 2-minute pause or something like that. That was because Always Wanna Fly is actually sick at the moment. Yeah, he was at the hospital yesterday, but he needed to go to the toilet, so had a break there. But they're not even playing with their
Full power.
full power. Let's say that because their full roster is here, of course, but full power maybe not. But I mean, he still had a great Rubik game.
Yeah, it's not like
It's not
the
as
confidence,
flashy,
right?
but-
Because most often than not, you'll see these Rubiks picked later on in the drafting phase when they're like, "Oh, I got some great spells to steal." But here, you've got a lot of synergy with offensive null field with the Lina, and just in general, like if you aren't planning on playing super defensive, because Rubik's not a great like TP to save your ganking mid laner kind of support because telekinesis is such a long cooldown.
Yeah.
But if you want to play aggressive, he's a fantastic support to have, and especially whenever you're maxing out Fade Bolt and stuff like that. But Silent definitely, I'd say, was rock solid the entire game, and that allowed Iceberg to come in, but
Yeah.
you needed that middle ground.
Yeah, no, I was thinking about this when I was like, oh, is Iceberg not the MVP? And I was like, actually, yeah, I think Silent does deserve this one because he had to really control the mid game and not let things get completely carried away. He was the one who kept up in farm with the Tiny, and he was the one that was winning them all those early to mid game team fights that set Iceberg up to get the level 25 Lina, DD Rune, Daedalus MKB. Yeah, Iceberg wins the game winning team fight, but everything that led up to that kept FTM in the game was because of this man here.
Yeah, very flexible core. We talked about it before the series as well, that he's a fighting carry, if you will, and that really showed in this game. Maybe something that VGJ.Thunder can take some advice from. But they are going to have another chance, though, to come back here in the second game. Getting ahead of myself there. We're going to have a short break. When we're back, though, it's time for game 2 of Group A.